All right, let's get it. All right, Shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahushuah, Yahushuah, Shem Yahushuah. All right, this is going to be the I.S.U.P.K Florida Sabbath service. Then I'm going to say a manju, YAHAWAH, which means to stand and face the east. We start out with the Lord's Prayer. All right, just repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Shemka, Yahawah, Malakuka, Daba'a, Ratazayaka, I.S.U.P.K, Baharatazah, Kawa, Bashamayim, Lathanawa, Lakum, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Kabawath Yanawa, Kasalak Lanawa, Kawawath Yanawa, Wala'a, Babiyahayanawa, Banasana 1, Habal, Aishayanawa, Mayan, Rad, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala Allah, Wahataparad, Awalamyam, Amen. Okay, we said in the English is our Father, art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, that will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. Our next prayer we'll go to is her cup, or in English, the power. YAHAWAH. Bahashim Yahushua Barakatah. Lathanawa. Her cup. Larpa'a. Kal Makala. Wakal Madawa. Her cup. La Harkuyam. It's like the heart. Ha Masajirayim. Her cup. La Hakuyam. Ha Mathmim. Her cup. Arakaras. Hatima'ala. Lagarshim. Bashum Yahushua. The water. Amen. Okay, what we said in English is YAHAWAH. In the name of YAHUSHA, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of YAHUSHA, thank you. So be it. All right, next prayer is blessings or Barak. Barakatah Yahawah Yahusha. Wa Maka Ya Allah. Wa Allahayim. Matazabiyah. Allah YAHANNA. Ha Allahwampiyam. Ha Sabranyam. Ha Quazatazayanyam. Ha Karyayawnyam. Wa Ha Quathian Yahawah. Bahashim Yahusha. The water. Amen. Okay. In the English is bless you, Yahawah, and Yahusha, and Michael, and the angels, Commander General YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters, YAHAWAH, in the name of YAHUSHA. Thank you. So be it. Okay, next prayer is going to be Psalms 121. Ayasha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Harim, my Ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Mahayim, Yahawah, Aisha'ah, Shemayim, Waharatiza, Ayathan, Lamawat, Regalga, Al-Yadawam, Shemarga, Hanala'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashun, Shawamar, Yashala, Yahawah, Yashamar, Yahawah, Tauzal, Al-Yad, Yonka, Yanawam, Hashemash, La'ah, Rekalka, Wayarak, Balayala, Yahawah, Yashamarka, Makarat, Yashamar, Ashnapashka, Yahawah, Yashamar, Tazawa'aska, Wabawa'aska, Ma'aisa. What? I will know. Okay, in the English is, I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh forth my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. All right, next prayer is Psalms 83. Elahayim, Al-Damayelaka, Al-Dakarash, Wa'al-Dashakwat, Al-Kayahanna, Yahamiko, Yahamayawam, Wamashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Aimaka, Yarayamwa, Sawad, Yahawaha Tazawa, Al-Tazapawanyika, Amorwa, Lako, Wanakuntium, Mogolia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum Yasha'ala, Iwad, Kaya, Nawa'a Tazawa, La Yakadwa, Al Yakad, Baryath, Ya Yakadwa, Aholia, Adawam, Wa Yashamayala, Mawa'awa, Wahagarian, Gobol, Wa'anawan, Wa'anala, Palashath, Yashabia, Tazawa, Gamashawa, Nalawa, Hayim, Hayawa, Zorawai, Labanya Lawat, Shalah, Aishalahum, Kamadi, Kasa Yasawa'ah, Kayabi, Bunakar, Washwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan Da'ara, Hayuah, Dama, Lahadama, Shayathamu, Danabu, Ka Arab, Waka Za'aba, Wa Kazabak, Waka Tazamana, Kabasi Kamwa, Ashar, Amaru, Na Yara, Naslaki, Na Yara, Yarash, La Nawa, Ash Nawat, Allahayam, Allahaya, Shayathamu, Kagabi, Kakwash, Labanyaka, Kaash, Taba Ira, Wakalat Laba, Balahat, Hariam, Khan, Varadama, Bazarika, Wab Sawapathka, Babalahum, Malahum, Payuwan, Kwalawan, Wayabashwa, Shumka Yahawah, Yabashwa, YAHAWAH, YAHUAH, YAHAPARLA, YAHABADWA, YAHIDU, YAHKAYA, Asa Shumka Yahawah, Labadka, Al Yawam, Al Kaw, Ha Harataza. Right? Okay, in the English, give repeat after me. Keep not thy silence, O God, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the birth of Kazan, which perished at Endor. Make their nobles like dung for the earth. It's like they became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeed. Yea, all their prince as Zabah and as Zumun, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Make them like a wheel, as a stove before the wind, and as a fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou whose name alone is Yahawah, or the Most High, over all the earth. And with that, I'll say you Shabbath, which means to be seated. If I'm not mistaken, I think last week I came left off on Exodus chapter 12 and 18. 1 second, slide. Got it. All right. So I'm gonna start off Exodus chapter 12, verse 18 in the Hebrew first, and then of course in English and break down if needed. Okay, again, this is Exodus chapter 12, verse 18. Barashan, Bar Baai, Aishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Ba Aida, by Arab, Tha Kawa, my Tazata, I, Yuwam, Ka'akad, Wa Wa I.S.U.P.K Lakadash by Arab Shabbath Yamayum Shar La'a Yamataza'a Babasikam Ya Kal Akal 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 Makamataza'a Wa Nakarathim Anapash Hawa'ah Ma Idath Yasha'Allah Sluggy Bagara Wa Ba'ar Karathia Haratiza Kal Maka Taza'ath La'a Ta Sluggy Ta Kalawath Bakal Mawa Kabasnium Ta Katalawath Matazawath why you pour R Mashiach Lakal Zakonaya Yasha'Allah Wayamar Alahayim Mashikawa Wakwa Wa Wakwaka Lakum Lahum Lakum Taza Ana Lama Slaki Lama Pas Yikum Wa Ka Tuwa Ha Posa Wala Kwa Fayim Hagadath Ha Tazawal Wa Tabalathium Badim Hashar Basa Wa Hagathum, Ow, Hamashakwas, Wahala, Shataya, Ha, Maza, Wazath, Mana, Hadam, Hasha, Basapa, Wa, Athum, Ba'a, Ba Taza, Awa, Ayash, Mapath, Mapatha, Baya, Tawa, I, Bakura, Wa I bor, Yahawah, La Nagal, Atha, Matazarayan, Wa Ra'ah, Atha, Ha Dema, Ow, Ha Masha Kwa Wa'al, Sha Saya, Ha Mataza Wazat, Wa Hakath, Yahawah, Ow, Hapasa, Wala'ah, Yasun, Hamash Kayas, Baba'a, Ow, Baskikum, Lanaga, verse 24, it's like Wamasharasim, Athab, it's like Athab, Hadabar, Hazak, La Kazak, Laka, Walabanya, Walabanyaka, Ow, Iwalum, Wahaya, Kaya, Taba'awa, Ow, Harataza, Ashar, Yasun, Yahawah, Laka, Kashar, Dabar, Washa Marathim, Asa, Ibad Yada, it's like Hazaz, White Aya, Kaya, Yamara, Allah, Come, Banayakum, Maha, Ha Ibad, Ha, Hayabada, Hayabad, Ha, it's like Haza'ath, Lakum, Waha Marathim, Zabat, Basat, Hawa'ah, La Yahawah, Ashar, Pasak, Ow, Bathia, Bunya Sha'ala, Bamatazarayim, Bana, it's like Banaga Gapan, it's like Asaf, Matazarayim, Wa'ath, Baskinawa, Hataza Yah, it's like YAHUAH, Hayim, YASH, it's like YASH, YASHTA, YALAKAWA, I.S.U.P.K, Banya, Yasha'Allah, Kashar, Taza'ah, YAHAWAH, Asa, Mosha, Wa'ah, As, the Rock, Khan, I.S.U.P.K. All right, it's like in English. It's like I went a little bit older. All right, in the English. Exodus chapter 12, verse 18. And in the first month, on the 14th day of the month, at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread, until the 21st day of the month at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Again, this is just the law. Of course, this is the unleavened bread law, where a lot of y'all getting ready for Passover. You should already be, preparing for this. And that you're removing anything with leaven. In this day and time, it's kind of tough because, the oppressor is, he's tricky with, what he's putting in the food. Maybe a certain type of food that you like to eat. And it's not labeled, baking soda. It's not labeled, on the label is not the actual name. It's like a scientific name or some name they came up with to hide the fact that they got, a leavening agent, a leavening, reactant inside, the food. So in this time, you got to actually go through, start paying attention to what, you're actually eating and buying to make sure that you remove all the leavening out of your house before you leave for Passover. All right. Give me a second. Before you leave for Passover, what I'm saying? So, that's something you should probably start doing. I always say, 2 weeks out, start paying attention, start, getting ready so that when you come back from Passover, you ain't got to be rushing and trying to check and double check and recheck. The work is already done. Again, in captivity, that's what we got to do. It ain't a hard thing. We just got to be a little bit more mindful. But this law is definitely talking about, removing, any leavening agents. You may not want to eat out. If you eat out a lot, you may want to double check. A lot of the restaurants don't know what's in the food in terms of like the cooks and stuff. They just cooking it. So it's probably best to just stay home and eat, cook your own food and, keep the law. And, you ain't got to be double thinking or double, trying to figure out, what's in your food. So like, again, this is for, this is for all of Israel. And in 19, you see how serious it is to the point to where, you can be cut off. Of course, there's a spiritual take on this as well. A lot of us have leaven in us, what I'm saying? Well, we puffed up, whether we arrogant or we think we something special. or we think we important in our lives to the people around us. And because this spirit, this evil spirit is amongst us, you know, it kills the brotherhood, it kills the sisterhood, because one person think they're so important that, you know, in other words, you feel you can't be replaced by the Lord. You know, so this law is both a physical law, but there's also a spiritual connotation to it as well, where, you know, you got to check yourself. You know, it's one thing when, you know, somebody check you, but are you checking yourself? Are you waking up in the mirror saying, am I that person? You know, am I doing this? Am I doing that? Am I really giving the Most High my 100%, effort? You know, am I really, you know, am I that, you know, that sister that I need to be? And realizing that if you're not, you got work to do. You know what I'm saying? So keep going to verse 20. And ye should eat nothing leavening in all your habitations. Ye shall eat unleavened bread. Also, part of that law is unleavened bread, right? So I always tell, you know, brothers, you know, even that night of Passover, like you want to stop the day before Passover. You know, the tradition is that we ain't have time. You know, we running out of, you know, this land, you know, called Egypt. Like we didn't have time, you know, don't wait. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, of course in the world, wait till the night of. Nah, like that night before, you know, the day of that Passover, like, you know, you want to stop eating all leavening agents. You want to make sure for those brothers who, who's traveling to the Passover, you've cleaned your house out, you've cleaned everything, you've stored it out of your house. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, you're ready to keep this law and you're ready to eat unleavened bread, which is the bread without that agent, that leavening agent, or that leavening, that active ingredient to puff up the bread. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like, for those who tried it, you already know. For those who haven't had unleavened bread, you know, it's like flat bread. Like it's just, you know, there's no puffiness, there's no air in the actual bread. You know, it's just flat. You know what I'm saying? And it takes it away from the texture. You know what I'm saying, in terms of where normally, you know, there's a soft, nice, you know, fluffiness to the bread without the leavening agent in it. It's just flat. All right. So verse 20 is just saying, you know, we got to remember to eat, you know, the unleavened bread. Remember at a time when, and this is synonymous with a lot of brothers too who come in, and sisters that come in the truth. And you forget to have mercy on brothers and sisters who they don't got it all the way down. You know what I'm saying? You forget who you were. Like you forgot you was a young man. You forgot you was a sister and dealing with whatever problems you was dealing with. You see somebody younger than you come in here and they trying, and you just, you know what I'm saying, you just forget how imperfect you was. You know what I'm saying? You kind of puffed up to them. You know, your family in the world, you know what I'm saying? They ain't, the Most High ain't rocking with them like he rocking with you. And because of that, you can kind of become self-righteous to where you looking down and, you know what I'm saying, you think you're better than them. And, you know, it's just a horrible spirit. But this is, it connects us not only to one another, because it helps the brotherhood, it helps the sisterhood, but it also helps us to, you know, our power with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It helps us to realize how small we are and remember a time when this nation, you know, we was running out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Even as we sit in captivity today under a different nation, you know what I'm saying? We can remember a time where we was in another captivity and the Lord saved us out of that captivity. And because of that, man, we deserve to be the men and women that the Lord want us to be, you know, for ourselves, for our families, for our brothers, and even for the brothers that and sisters that are weak and they can't. They should always have, men and women, so to speak, that they can look at and say, you know what, these brothers and these sisters are strong and they're the example of the whole world. You know, not just the Black and Hispanic community. Like we the example of the whole world, because without these laws and without understanding what this book is talking about, without this law, you know, we'll be just like the so-called oppressor. who's shortly going to get ready to start World War III, because he's too puffed up. Because, and the nations are going to join him because they puffed up too. And they think that they better than, each other. And it's good to see how all the nations that despise the law of the Lord are going to be put in a situation where they're going to wish they understood what this scripture and these scriptures are talking about. All right. So verse 21. Then Moses called for the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out at the door of his house until this morning. That's like until the morning. For the Lord will pass through and to smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come into upon your houses to smite you. All right. So this is, remember why we keep this law. Why we, remember the Lord. We read, 2 weeks ago how the Lord controlled the crickets. The Lord controlled the earthquakes. The Lord controlled the hurricanes and everything that we know. The so-called person got something that's called dark energy and dark matter. Like this is the Lord controlled all of this. You know what I'm saying? And that power is with us. And Moses is giving instructions to the children of Israel, not to the Egyptians, on how to not be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? And this is why the law is important. This is why the commandments and understanding and the wisdom that, in this Bible is so true and so vital and essential for your life and for every life you come back in this earth. You know what I'm saying? Every life you come back, understanding, who you are and what you're supposed to do on this earth is essential and it's the reason why you're here. You know what I'm saying? So verse 23, it's like 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. You know what I'm saying? And forever meant 2025 and continuing. You know what I'm saying? This is why we keep these, feasts and high holy days and, to remember our power and to keep the commandments. Because as you just read, it is commandments forever. You're supposed to teach your children and teach them to teach their children. You know what I'm saying? Verse 25, and it shall come to pass when ye become to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. So remember, we running out of Egypt, we ain't really got the land fully. The Lord has already given us what we are expected to do and to keep it forever, which is again why we keeping it in captivity. When the oppressor got his foot directly on our neck and the other nations who joined them, you know what I'm saying? We still keeping, this law that the Lord required us to keep. And the service, which you'll see the service for those who gonna be in Atlanta. You'll definitely see the service. Also, I think for those who may not be as fortunate enough to make it, it'll be televised. I believe it'll be on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. And you can watch it from there and see the service that we're reading about in 26. All right. Or it's like it. Okay. I think I skipped it. 25, it's like it. All right, verse 26. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? Which a lot of y'all will go through that this year. The first time being at Passover, your children gonna ask you questions, which is an opportunity to educate your kids, to let them know about, this ancient law, these commandments that the Lord gave for us to keep. Again, y'all can write this scripture down and break it down. Well, it's like write this scripture down and have them read it, to your kids so they can see where it is. All right. 27. That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head and worshiped. All right. Now, question a lot of y'all Christians who may be watching, why y'all don't celebrate Passover? You don't celebrate Passover because you got to know that the Egyptians, are they not on the planet today? You got to tell the Egyptians that their forefathers were slaves for keeping the children of Israel in captivity. That Christian church, they don't want to talk about nationality, and they don't want to talk about the races the Lord put, the chosen race in the scriptures, in the Bible. Because then they have to come to Exodus chapter 12 and explain to the Egyptians and to every other nation that's not included, in the children of Israel, why the Lord sent angels and destroyers to kill them, for their evil wickedness upon us. All right, verse 27. Verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of the Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. All right, so the Lord didn't have, a list of people outside of the children of Israel when he dealt with the Egyptians. He killed the cattle, he killed the firstborn. Like he went, he proved the point. You know what I'm saying? He proved the point. You know what I'm saying? And that's the spirit of the Most High that we serve. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord is going to be righteous when it's time to be righteous. Like that was the word he gave to Moses. And that's so, that's what he did. Exactly what he told Moses what was going to happen. It's like verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. All right. And Moses called for he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, rise up and get you forth from among my people, both ye and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as ye have said. All right. And this is when you know what I'm saying? This is when you're taken serious. And being taken serious is something that Black and Hispanics, we don't really, as a nation understand what it means to be taken seriously. We think being taken seriously is being able to get hired or, some DEI program or, civil rights. That's what we think being taken seriously is. We're reading right here is what happens when another nation who got you in oppression, they take you serious now. Because now your demand was, we want to get up out of here. We want to go serve our God. And Pharaoh, he's like, nah, you're not doing that. I got the army. He puffy. He the one on the top. He's the one that's, he's the one that's calling the shots. Just like President Trump. Y'all do what I say when I say it. And, he had to find out. He had to mess around and find out that there's a bigger God. And that's what Pharaoh has seen right here. Like he finding out that there's something bigger than you. It's something bigger than your Egyptian magic and all your science. And as you see, you know, so-called oppressor, and they want to go to space and they got laser guns and all this stuff, they gonna find out too that what they think is you know, power, but they ain't really seen power at all yet. The Lord gonna surprise and pull a trump card on all these nations, and they gonna bow down too, which you'll see as time folds, but not to, you know, deviate too far from the scriptures. As you see, you know, Pharaoh, you know, his heart hardened so hard, he, you know, now he's finally breaking a little bit. You know, now he wants to say, okay, y'all get out of here. You and them people, I mean, you can imagine how this went down. You reading in the scriptures, you know, you can imagine what he really said. You know what I'm saying? You know, all the words they come up with us, by words they come up with us. He's like, you take them and y'all get up out of here and, you know what I'm saying, leave us be. Because this was a death blow to them. You know, all the firstborn, the cattle, you know, you remember the cattle is, you know, the good cattle is gone. You know what I'm saying? So, Slack, let me keep going. I don't want to go too far on the deep end, Slack. I think I stopped right here. Yeah, I think I stopped right here. All right, so Slaki, reading the Hebrew. I think I'm on verse 31. Come. Verse 31. Okay, Exodus chapter 12, verse 31. Wayakara la Masha la Aran la wa la Aran la Yala Wayamar Kwa Wamawa Taza Awa Mawaka Imuya Gum Atham Gum Banya Yasha'ala Wala Slaki Walakawa Ibadwa Atha YAHAWAH Ka the bark Slaki Ka the Barakam Gum Taza Anakim Gum Ba Kwarakam Kwakawa Kashar the Barasam Walakawa Wabarak Slaki Wabarakam Gum Athaya Wa the Kazak Matazarayim Al Ha'ayim Lam Lamahar Lashalakam Mana Harataza Kaya Amarwa Kalanawa Mathium Yash Slaki yo Wayashar Hayim Atha Batazawak Tara Ya Kamazata, Ma Sharathium, Tazarath, Bashal Malathia, I Shakamun, Wabunya, Yasha'ala, I.S.U.P.K, Kadabar, Mosha, YASHA'Ala, Matazarayim, Kalaya, Kasa, Wakawa, Zabak, Washamalat, YAHAWAH, Nathan, Nathak, Atha, Hana, Haim, Ba'ayanawa, Muntazaraya, Wa Yashalawam, Wa Yana Taza Lanawa, Atha, Mazatarayan, Wa Yasa Iwa, Bun Yasha'Ala, Mara Masa, Sakatha, Kaishash, Ma Awath, Allah, Ra Galaya, Hakabarian, Laha, Masa, Wagum, Irab, Rabah, Ilah, Asum, Wa Taza Ana, Wabukor, Makwana, Kaihab, Mahad, Waya Aparo, Waya Apawa, Hatha, Ha Taze'ah, Ashar, Wa Ha, Wa Taza Ya'awa, Ma Tazarayim, Haigath, Ma Taza Wath, Kaya Laha, Kamataza, Kaya, Karashawa, Ma Matazarayim, Wala'a, Ya Kalawa, Yakawa, Slaki, Lasa Mahmas, Walagum, Tazadath, La'a, I.S.U.P.K, Lahum, Wa Mawa Mawashab, Bayasha'Allah, Hashar, Yashabwa, by Montezerian, Shalashim, Shana, Arabai, Ma, Arawath, Shana, Wa, Yaha, Makwataza, Shala, Shayum, Nasha, Wa, Arabai, Ma, Arawath, Shana, YAHUAH, Ba, Tazma, it's like Ha Yawum, Haza, Yatazawa, Kau, Tazabawath, Yahawah, Marataza, Matazarayim, La Yala, it's like La Yal, Shamarium, Hawaah, La Yahawah, La, it's like it, Laha, Wataza Yahawah, Ma Harataza, Ma Tazarayim, Hawaah, Ha, it's like it, Halayala, Hazab, La Yahawah, Sharayum, Lakal, Bunya, Yasha'Allah, La Debasium, Waya Amar, Yahawah, Al Nusha, Waya Haran, Zahath, Hakwath, Kakwath, Hapasap, Kal, Banya, Bun, Nakar, La'ah, Ya Akal, Bawa, Wakal, Ibad, Ayash, Makwana, Kasap, Wa, Malatha, Athawa, Azah, Ya Akal, Bawa, Tawashab, Washab Kayap, La'ah, Ya Akal, Bawa, Bayas, Akkad, Ya Akal, La'ah, Tawa Tazayah, Ya'ah, Mana, Habasia, Mana, Habashar, Hawataza'ah, Wa Aitazum, La'ah, Tashabarwa, Bawa, Kal, Aidath, Yasha'Allah, I.S.U.P.K, Athawa, Wakaya, Yagawah, Ataka, Gora, Wa Aisha, Hasak, La Yahawah, Ha Mawal, Lawa, Kaya, Zakar, Wa Hazah, Wa Korab, La Yashakwa, Wa Haya, Ka Zaraska, Haratazah, Kawal, it's like Wakal, IRAAL, La'ah, YAHUAH, B.O.W. All right, I got two more verses. I'm gonna just knock them out. It's lucky, y'all. Thawa Ra, Atha, Yahawah, La it's like La Azraka, Wala, it's like Wa Gara, Hagara, Basquikum, Ya I.S.U.P.K, Cow, Bun Yasha'Allah, Kashar, Tazawa, YAHAWAH, Atha, Moshe, Wa'ath, Harun, Khan, Aisha, I.S.U.P.K, Sa, YAHUAH, Ba'itazum, Hayawam, Hazah, Hawa Tazayah, Yahawah, Asa, Banya Yasha'Allah, Maharatza, Matazarayim, Al Tazaba'athim. All right, so in the English, it's like, yeah, I just went through the whole chapter. So Salaki, then we just read the English. I think I left off on 31, 32 in the English, Salaki. And again, this Exodus chapter 12, verse 32. And take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. All right, and this is the fear, that I was talking about earlier. When there's a nation that is afraid to harm you, there's a nation that's afraid to harm you, they have you in captivity, or maybe they're your neighbor, and they're afraid to cross those borders. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at, Europe, Russia and Europe are on the same, island, or the same, land or continent. But yet, what keeps Europe from running into Russia? You know what I'm saying? Respect. You know what I'm saying? So you're starting to see even the people on the low level, not just Pharaoh and the high men in Egypt, even the average commoners, right? You know what I'm saying? Are saying the same thing. Y'all take y'all stuff and get out of our land, right? Because they don't want us here, because they are afraid of what? They're afraid of the very same thing that, how to say this, the very same thing that puffs them up, the very same thing that they think they're better than us, they're afraid that they're going to depart from that. right? They're afraid that they're not going to be able to have, the luxury of being a first-class citizen, right? They're not going to be able to have the luxury of being the oppressor anymore, because the Lord is dealing serious business, and they are afraid of, as you read, they are afraid of death. They're afraid to depart from that lifestyle of being the oppressor, of being the first class, of being, comfortable. You know what I'm saying? They are afraid of it. So because they want to keep that, they just say, you know what? Y'all leave. We will just try to do without you. This is a spirit, because we don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? We want to live. It was something that the Lord knew, that will definitely get the attention of the Egyptians and the Pharaoh. And you're reading about it, they had to, realize that it was a bigger power, a stronger power that can take away something that you can't get back. Let's just say it like that. All right, verse 35. Excuse me. 4. And the people took their dough before it was leavened, the kidney troughs, being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And this is what we want the power to do for us. We want the Most High to give us favor in the sight of who? You know what I'm saying? The Americans. You could say the Americans. You could say the Europeans. You could say the Chinese and the Japanese. You could say, the Arabs, the sons of Ishmael. You could say the Hamites. You know what I'm saying? And pull us out of these captivities where we dwell at. Now we are the new height. You know what I'm saying? When they see our power get into action. All right, verse 36. And the Lord gave the people favor. Oh, Slaki. Well, Slaki, I'll read those. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required. And they spoiled the Egyptians. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. All right. So we had a mixed multitude of what? Cattle. We had all kinds of stuff with us. We working out. I mean, you have to understand this, even this site here, us leaving out of Egypt, we came into Egypt with nothing. But we walked out of the richest, basically, kingdom with all kinds of cattle. You have to understand, the equivalent to cattle. I mean, I don't think you can have an equivalent to cattle today, because cows do so much for survival, fertilizing the ground. You can make meat out of it. You can take stuff out of the meat and make different types of oils and stuff that you can use to cook. Oil is a real good flammable type of thing. You can just put a little fire on. You know how hard it is to make a fire in the wilderness? So it's a lot of stuff that cattle and different animals, make our lives easy. In this day and time, that is wealth. Because life is wealth, right? If you can't live, then you have no wealth. But the things that help you live are wealth. Fire and heat and these things. This is remember, we ain't got, of course, your iPhone and all that stuff it makes it easy. But people live for thousands of years without iPhones and laptops and stuff like that. But what's on your plate and, how fast you can get certain things, that, can keep you alive. These are the real important things, what I'm saying? The minerals that are coming from the earth, of course, the technology to make it, easier or make your life better is good. But the basic building blocks of life, we're walking out of Egypt with everything any man could want. After going into Egypt with nothing, you know what I'm saying? So verse 20, verse 39. And they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry. All right, so when they say it could not tarry means we could not wait. Like there was no time to, get the leaven in and let it, anybody if you know about, baking and stuff, you got to let that bread sit and then it grows. But when you're running out of captivity, you ain't got 8 hours to let the bread, rise up. You don't got 8 hours to do that. We got to go. It's still bread. It's unleavened. We can rock with it. The law was given to us just for that, to remember when you didn't have time, because we got to leave. Because, the next phase is, for the Egyptians is, with every wicked empire goes through, every wicked empire goes through after the slaves are gone, and then they got to sit with themselves, and they don't have a help me up to go down and look at the slaves and make the slaves' life horrible. Now it's just them alone, the Egyptians, because the slaves have left. Now they got to go kill the slaves. Of course, we'll read that later as we get through this chapter. So I don't want to jump too far ahead. Verse 30, 39, it's like neither had they prepared for themselves any victors. All right. Now the sojourning of the victors is basically like in those times, it was like a storage of certain foods or whatever. It's like a bag, like a bag you have, and you got certain stuff that you prepare for your journey. Remember, they didn't have, cars and stuff like that. In them days, you got on a horse, a mule. And if you wanted to go to Egypt, to Jerusalem, that's going to be some months. So you had to have food, water packs and stuff like that, salt to purify the water, certain things like that to get up there, because, if you had any type of food, it wasn't going to make it. Remember, there's animals out there. It's all kind of, predators that you walking around with some meat on you. Number one, that meat ain't going to last, so you got to put salt to preserve it. And even with the salt in it, you probably still ain't going to be able to preserve it too much. But remember, what I'm saying, you got alligators and all kind of different animals. They hungry. And if you got food on you like that, then you're definitely going to be a target. So there's certain ways you can preserve the food to maybe even keep the animals away. But at the same time, you can preserve it enough for you to be able to eat it to make it to the next city. All right, so that's what a victory is, so to speak. All right. Verse 40. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations. All right. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is an ordinance of the Passover. Thou shalt no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is brought for money, when thou circumcise him, then shall he eat thereof. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof. all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. Right? Like again, notice that this law is only for Israel. All the congregation of Israel shall keep it. All right. And when the strangers shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover of the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. And one law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. All right. Now a lot of fake Israelite groups are trying to say, see that's talking about heathens. That is not talking about heathens. You know, that is not talking about anybody but Israel. And it's real simple to understand this, to know that, you know, if we left right now, your mother would not be a part of, you know, of Israel. She is African American. She is Puerto Rican. You know, she despised the Lord. She's the Israelite blood, but she is not, you know, she is not trying to keep the law of Passover. She is not trying to do what the Lord wants her to do. Right. And also remember, in the scriptures, there are certain people who, at one point or another, you may be cut off, which means you had to leave. You Israelite blood, but you had to leave the congregation. All right. So remember, when the Most High gave us the law, it's perfect. The problem with us is that we don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand it, and we think we understand it. And because of the thing we know what it's talking about, you know what I'm saying? We end up joining another nation. We end up doing things that we ain't supposed to do, because we really just want to be like the heathens. We want to be like Pharaoh. Like, we want to be like them in terms of, you know, unlawful, you know, in your own spirit. You know what I'm saying? Every heathen got a culture to where they puff themselves up over us, and we take that same culture and we try to be like them. And as we continue to read, we'll see where Israel, we didn't want to, you know, we wanted the gods of the Egyptians. We wanted the gods of, you know, we wanted to do our own will. And because of it, the Lord took that wisdom from us, and we don't understand what, you know, this law is about. We don't understand the spirit of the law. We don't understand what this law is meant, even though we just read brotherhood all in the law. We've read how to treat certain people, how to treat our family members who don't want to serve the Lord. You know what I'm saying? How to treat them, how to treat young brothers who coming into the truth, who are, you know, trying to get this down. You know, we, you know, care more about being puffed up and having that leaven and the things that we love than keeping the commandments and understanding that, you know, we are stronger as a family. We're stronger together. We're stronger if we solve our problems the way the Lord says to solve our problems. All right. So verse 40. One law shall be to him that is homeborn unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by the land of Egypt by their armies. All right. And I think that concludes on that. Hold on a second, y'all. That's not I think that's about right there. Yeah. Okay, so with that, I don't see any questions in the chat. Let's see. Okay, so with that, that's the last verse for this chapter. And then we'll go through 13, 14, and maybe 15 next week. Okay, we'll go through 13, 14, 15 in smaller chapters. And we'll conclude. Again, remember, you know what I'm saying, the Lord's law is essential to our existence, you know, not only individually in your life, but as a nation. You know, the law is meant to bring us together. The law is meant to help us, you know, stay together and to show brotherhood and to be those people that the Lord wants us to be. So with that, I'm going to conclude the Sabbath service of the Lord's Prayer. So I'm going to say, I'm going to say Amajim, YAHANNA Hakudam. Okay, in Hebrew, which means stand and face the east. And we'll conclude with the Lord's Prayer. So I can. Then we'll start with the Hebrew first, and then I'll go into the English. All right. Again, this is the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, I.S.U.P.K, YAHAWAH, Malakuka, Taba'ah, Ratazayah, it's like a Hayah, I.S.U.P.K, Baharatazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lananawa, Lakum, Ka, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kabawath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawath Yanawa, Wala'at, Taba Yahaya Nawa, Banasana 1, Habal, Ayashai now, Mayan, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'Allah, Wahathaparos, I will Amen. Okay, in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, or be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. Next prayer is the power or YAHUAH. YAHAWAH, Bahashim Yahushua Bakasha, Lafun Nawa, YAHUAH, Larpa'ah, Kalmadalah, Wakalmadawa, YAHUAH, La Tahar, Hamathium Rayim, YAHUAH, La Hakim, Hamathium, YAHUAH, Arikari, Hatuma'ala, Lagarsha, Bahashim, Yahushua, the water, Amen. Okay, in the English, is YAHAWAH. In the name of YAHUSHA, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, in the name of YAHUSHA. Thank you. So be it. Our next prayer is Barak, or blessings. Barakatah Yahawah YAHUSHA. Why Maka Ya'Allah, Wa Allahayim, Matazabiyah, Allah YAHANNA, Ha Alawampium, Ha Saranyum, Ha Kwatazayanyum, Waha Kal Yayawim, Waha Akwatium, Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahushua, the water. Amen. Okay, in the English is bless you, Yahawah, and Yahushua, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General YAHANNA, the generals, the captains, the officers, and the troopers and the sisters, Yahawah, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Okay, next prayer is going to be Psalms 121 in Hebrew. YAHUSHUA, YAHANNA, YAHAWAH, YAHANNA, YAHWAH, ISRAELITES, MA'AN, YAHAWAH, I.S.U.P.K, SHALAM, YAHAWASHI, Al-Yasan, Lamawat, Regala, Al-Yanawam, Shamar, Hanala, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayashan, Sharmar, Yashala, YAHAWAH, Shamar, YAHAWAH, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yunka, Yanawam, Hashamash, I.U.K, YAHWAH, Balayala, YAHWAH, Yashamar, Makarai, Yashamar, Ashnapashka, YAHWAH, Yashamar, Tazahaska, Wahawaska, Ma'isa, YAHWAH. Okay, in the English, I will lift up my eyes into the hills, for which cometh forth my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. All right, next prayer is going to be Psalms 83. What's in the Hebrew first? Al-Hayam, Al-Damayelaka, Al-Takarash, Al-Tashakwa, Al-Kayahanna, Yahamika, Yahamayawam, Wamashanayaka, Nasha'awa, Ra'ash, Al-Aimaka, Yahamayamwa, Sawa, Wayatha, Awatazawa, Atazapawanika, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wanakunkia, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Shum Yasha'ala, I.Y. Kaya. Now Wa'atazawa, Lakadia, Al-U.K, Baryas, Kayaswa, Ahoya, Adawam, YAHUSHUA, Mawa'awa, Wahagorian, Gabal, Wa'aimalat, Wa'aimawan, Wa'aimalat, Palashas, I'm Yeshavi, Tazawa, Gamashawa, Nalawa, Hayawah, Zorawah, Labanyalawat, Shalah, Aishalahum, Kamadi, Kasa Yasara'a, Kayadi, Banakal, Baiwashawan, Nashamadwa, Bayan Adira, Hayanawa, Dama, Lahadma, Sayasamu, Danabu, Ka'ara, Wakaza Abak, Waka Zabak, Waka Tazal Manat, Kamnasi Kamwa, Ashar, Amar, Nashara'ash, La Nawa, Ash Nawas, Hayawam, it's like it. Halaya, Shayasamwa, Kagaga, Kakwash, Lapanyurika, Kaash, Sebairi Ira, Wakala Abba, Zelahut, Hari, Khan, Sebadatma, Basairika, Wa Basapaska, Sabalahum, Malaha, Panyahum, Qualawan, Waya Abashwa, Shumka Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya Abawa, Waya Iwa, Waya Kapara, Waya Abadwa, Waya Iwa, Kaya, Asa, Shumka Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawam, Al Ha, Haratazah. Okay, and then Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God, and hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Israelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur is also joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to the being with Kasar, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zael, yea, all their prince as Zebah and as Zumun, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as a stove before the wind, and as a fire burneth the wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be troubled and troubled forever, confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou whose name alone is YAHAWAH, or the Most High, over all the earth. Again, with that, we'll say Shalom, YAHAWASHI, YAHUSHUA, Barakatah, YAHUSHUA, YAHUSHUA. See y'all next week. Shalom, Yahshua.